So Elon Musk just made a huge move involving his AI company, xAI, a deal worth over $3 billion. But here's the twist, and it's a big one. The company itself didn't get a single penny. So what on earth was this really about? Well, it wasn't about funding the future. It was about controlling it. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. $3.2 billion. That's a mind-boggling amount of money, the kind of investment that's supposed to pour rocket fuel on a company's growth. And that's exactly what makes this whole story so fascinating. And this is the central puzzle, right? We've got this massive transaction, $3.2 billion, all tied to xAI, and yet the company's bank account didn't change one bit. So if the money wasn't for R&D or new servers, where did it actually go? And what was Musk's real goal here? Okay, let's get into the details. This all came to light in a regulatory filing. Now, on the surface, it looked like a gigantic investment, but it had nothing to do with fueling the company's day-to-day operations. To really get what happened, you have to look at how this deal was actually put together. Okay, so normally when a company raises money, it's called a primary raise. Super simple. They create new shares, sell them, and the cash goes right into the company's pocket. You know, it's like a bakery selling more loaves of bread so it can buy a bigger oven. But this was a secondary purchase. Musk used his own cash to buy existing shares directly from the early investors, so the bakery itself got nothing. One owner just sold their piece of the pie to another. Right, so if this whole thing wasn't about giving the company a cash infusion, then what was the point? Well, it really boils down to one simple, powerful word: control. This quote just says it all. This wasn't about letting some early backers cash in their chips. Nope. This was a very deliberate, calculated move by Musk to cement his authority over where this company is headed, and he did it at a super critical time. And look at the result. By buying up those shares, Musk jacked his total voting power in xAI to over 64%. Now, that's not just a simple majority. That is a commanding, ironclad position. It means from here on out, his vision is the one that steers the ship, period. And here is exactly why that's so important right now. xAI is gearing up for a massive global expansion. We're talking huge data centers, the whole shebang. By doing this, Musk is making sure that the big, risky, long-term decisions are his and his alone. He's essentially preventing the company from being pulled in different directions by institutional investors who might be more interested in short-term profits than his grand vision. But, this was more than just a power grab. It was a really smart strategic play designed to hit several key goals, especially when you think about what's coming next for xAI. With this one transaction, he basically achieved three things at once. First, he insulated the company from outside pressure right when it's about to take some big, expensive risks. Second, he tied the company's financial destiny even more tightly to his personal control. And third, by buying shares at this price, he sent a massive signal of confidence to the market right before he's expected to announce some major global projects. And here's a really critical financial point. Because no new shares were created, the company's value, the pizza, if you will, wasn't cut into more slices. In finance, that's called avoiding dilution. It means xAI's balance sheet is completely untouched, which keeps it looking strong for any real fundraising it needs to do later. So Musk tightened his grip without weakening the company one bit. Now let's zoom out a bit, because this deal isn't just about one company's internal politics. It's a huge signal about how the most powerful people in the world are starting to see artificial intelligence. We're talking about a whole new class of asset, a cornerstone of future global power. The analysis of this deal uses this incredibly powerful phrase, sovereign-level strategic asset. Think about what that really means. We're now talking about AI infrastructure in the same way we talk about a nation's power grid or its water supply or its telecom networks. This isn't just another tech sector. It's becoming fundamental to national security and economic might. So a move like this isn't just a stock trade. It is a full-throated bet on the entire future of the AI economy. It signals a deep belief that the real, lasting value is in controlling the whole stack, from the data centers and the hardware to the AI models themselves, and all the way to the apps that we'll all be using. This is the absolute opposite of the traditional playbook for the ultra-wealthy, which is usually to preserve wealth by diversifying into safe, boring assets. This is aggressive. This is directional. It's not just about getting a piece of a new industry. It's about seizing the steering wheel and deciding which way that entire industry is going to turn. So what kind of message does this send to everyone else? What about the other big players in private capital, the family offices, the sovereign wealth funds, who all want a piece of this AI revolution? Now, you might think that one person having that much control would look risky to outside investors. But for these huge, large-scale funds, it's actually the opposite. It's a sign of stability. Before you write a check for $1 billion, you want to know exactly who is in charge and that there's a single, clear, disciplined vision, especially if you're thinking an IPO might be on the horizon. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway here, a kind of golden rule for any new groundbreaking industry. Before you can attract capital at a massive, world-changing scale, you first need absolute clarity on who is calling the shots. Musk's move delivered exactly that. So in the end, this whole $3 billion puzzle reveals a fundamental truth about the world we're building. Elon Musk has made his move to lock down his corner of the AI universe. But as this technology truly becomes the most critical asset on the planet, it leaves all of us with one final massive question: who gets to be in control?